Hi Stampin' Buddies, this is Robin with Stampin' with Robin. I'm going to show you a card today made with the Music from the Heart stamp set. The card that we're going to make is this one here. And you'll notice there's a guitar on this card, but there's not one in here. And I'm going to show you how to use these two stamps to make that guitar. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We first of all need a piece of basic black cardstock. It's cut 11 by 4 1/4 and scored at 5 1/2. So we'll go ahead and fold that up. And I'm going to use my bone folder to make that fold just a little bit more crisp. Then we also have a piece of real red cardstock. This is cut at 5 by 3 7/8. We have 2 pieces of Whisper White. One of them is 5 1/4 by 4. This will go on the inside of your card. And this piece here is 4 3/4 by 3 1/2, and that will be for the front of the card. And then we also have a strip that is a 1/2 inch wide. It doesn't matter the length, because once we put the You Rock sentiment on there, we'll go ahead and cut it to size. So we'll go ahead and set that aside for now. We're going to go ahead and open up our Memento Tuxedo Black ink pad, and let's go ahead and get started with the guitar. So we're going to first of all use the stamp. We're going to ink it up. And to do this, I put it at an angle and just stamp straight down and straight up. Now I'm going to clean my stamps as I go, so they're clean for the next use. And now we're going to use the neck of the guitar. And you'll notice that there is a point here and a point down here. So we have to get this lined up just right. And there, that's how we make the guitar. All right, and since we have that on there, now we'll go ahead and put our lines for our music. And I'm going to turn that over since it's a little bit bigger stamp. So I make sure that I have all of my lines nice and inked up before we stamp that on our paper. And of course, as you notice, I get ink on my fingers, which is very, very common. I'll go ahead and clean that stamp. And then I am going to put the music on here. 2 different notes that we're using here are actually 3. 2 of them are combined. And this actually, the way I did the card, it actually, if you play this music, it is the beginning of the traditional birthday song. So we're going to go ahead and we'll stamp it up here. And we'll do this one here. And this one goes here. And this here. And that right there is the happy birthday to you. And we'll go ahead and just start, since we have some room, we'll go ahead and just put this in here as well. There. So that makes our music. I'm making a lot of noise here, knocking blocks over. Okay, so now I'm going to set that aside for the time being, and I'm going to close up this ink pad because I'm real bad about stamping into the wrong ink pad. So we're just going to close that up so we don't risk that. And I'm going to open up the real red ink pad. Excuse me. And actually, we're going to use the happy birthday to begin with. So we're going to ink that up. You don't have to press real hard. You just tap, tap, tap and get your ink on there. And we're just going to line that up the best we can. Actually, I'm going to put this up here to make sure you guys can see it. Straight down and straight up. And then we'll set that aside. We'll go ahead and use the You Rock sentiment. Same thing. And we'll line this up the best we can. Straight down, straight up. Now you could use some kind of a trimmer or whatever for this, but personally I would rather just use my scissors. So we're just going to go ahead and forgive me if I get really quiet. I do that when I'm concentrating and trying to get this straight. Of course, we all know you have to hold your tongue in the proper position to be able to get this straight. Hope you guys are all having a wonderful day. It's a beautiful Palm Sunday here in North Carolina. All right, so I've got that cut up, and before we move on to the next, I'm going to go ahead on the back of this and use some of our mini dimensionals, which will put some dimension into our card, because this will pop this little saying up. We'll go ahead and just stick that right there. And look at that, I've got ink on here, but I will show you, this is a mono sand eraser that I use to get rid of things, and sometimes it comes out and sometimes it doesn't. So let's just see if we can make it go away. Look at that. So if you do ink up something wrong, if you can get one of these, I got it off of Amazon. It really does help to get rid of some of that. If you got a real big stain, it doesn't necessarily help so much, but that was just a small one, so I was able to erase that out of there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and use one of our Stampin' blends. This is the dark real red, and this is our alcohol marker, or one of our alcohol markers. As you can tell, there is a thick or felt tip type of end, and then there's also a chiseled, more pointed end. And to be able to get into this heart, I'm going to use the smaller one. It gives me a little bit more control. So we'll go ahead and just color in this heart. And when you're using alcohol blends, as I said before, we used the Black Tuxedo Memento. This is a water-based ink, and when you're using your alcohol markers, you should always use your water-based inks, because if you don't, it will smear the color. And as you notice, the color did not smear on that one, so that's what you need to use if you're going to use these. Also remember, when you're using the Stampin' blends or any alcohol markers, you need to make sure that when you're putting that cap back on, that you put it on and hear that click, because that will help prevent the alcohol from evaporating, and it will keep your blend still moist and it won't run out of ink. Okay, so we're going to go ahead, and since we have this on there, I do want to go ahead, there's another something on the inside of the card that I did not show you, but I actually put a keyboard here on the bottom of this card. So let's go ahead and stamp that for the inside as well. Let's get our black Memento back out. And we'll ink that up really well, hopefully. And if you'll start this at the edge right here, as you can see, it's not as big as what I showed you. So what we're going to do is we'll ink it up again, and then we just link the end of this stamp to the end of that and have it go all the way across the page or the card. And I didn't get a great job on that, but hey, it builds character. So we have that done. So now let's put our card together. I'm going to close up this ink or I will ruin my card. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put this on the inside. My favorite adhesive is liquid, the Tombow liquid glue. You can use whatever adhesive is your adhesive of choice. I prefer, like I said, the Tombow. It kind of gives you just a few seconds to get it in place in case you get it crooked. And let's make sure we turn this over to the right orientation. And we'll just put that there. Make sure I don't have any glue on my fingers. And then we'll take this one, excuse me, And we'll go ahead and line this up on the real red piece of paper. There we go. I think it's pretty straight. And we'll go ahead and put this on the back of the real red. So we can go ahead and line this up on our black base. Now for this here, these little dimensionals have little paper covers. So we're gonna take those little paper covers off. And we're just gonna set this right across there. Now, when I did this card, and I actually made this card for a very, very special person in my life. His birthday is coming up this week. But when I made it, I liked the way it turned out, but it was missing something. It's like there's a lot of white on here. So here's one of our Stampin' Right markers. This is the basic black Stampin' Right marker. And if you will take this, I'm trying to get everything out of the way because I don't want to splatter everything. But if you will take this and put the thick end into the cap and just flick. You see the black specks on there? And I think it just added something. So this is our card for the day. I hope you enjoyed watching me make this card. And I also hope that you will subscribe to my channel. And also click on the little bell to get further notifications of when I may be live or when I upload another video to my channel. Also, all the products that I showed today, you can also purchase those at my website at www.robinpurdom.stampinup.net. And I am, by the way, an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. Have a blessed day.